Greetings, traveler.
Alright guys, we have a huge patch. We're going to dive right in. Lots of change. First up, we have some removed cards. The only one that really matters here is Carbonic Copy. The rest is kind of fluff, although Scourge Harvester, I did have a really fun build with that, with the Meditative. The Nagata gives health on your spells. That was very fun with Carapace. But Carbonic Copy is really the meta-defining card here, so that is a huge nerf to Elementals. We're going to have to see how we're going to play them now. Then we have Vineweaver going from tier 4 to tier 5. That is very justified, but also I would really like to see a cap on the amount of times it can proc into combat, because that is still kind of crazy. Now, the fact that it's on 5 means you don't get it as early, means it's a little bit more difficult for those epic farms, but no, it's nice. Roadborer going from 3 gems to 2 gems, but it's now a 3/4. That's also very fair. 3 gems was super strong, and overall the nerfing Quillbore a little bit. Sargeras is 4/4. Yeah, that was also like a really good tempo. 7, again, not very meta defining. 7 drops aren't super common, but was a tad too strong. Raptor Elder now has stealth, and it's +3/+2. So the previous one was not 1/1, right? The previous one was 2/2, but it came all the way from 1/1, which is funny. So it was released as a 2/7. Your beasts have +1/+1, and when this thing dies, it's gone. That is insane that it's now up to stealth and 3/2. This is Blizzard really saying, bro, you have to play. You have to play Beast. Please play Beast. My god, Raptor Elder is the shit. And this is kind of the sad part, is that because Beasts don't really go infinite money or anything, they're always going to be kind of a B tier comp. But in the right setup, you can get it online really fast. So I think Raptor Elder is still just tempo. I don't think it's going to be like a final build, just because summoning the beasts just takes too long, and Goldrin, it's much easier with Macaw, with Wind Fury, with Reborn. You can trigger that over and over and over and over, whereas with the Raptor Elder, you trigger that by summoning, but the combat is already almost done then, right? So, and it just takes too long for those buffs to trickle in. So I think it's a pure mid-game card. I don't think this is an end-game card. This is just pure mid-game. Stegodon is now 3 attack. So against boards that are just health, so basically not tokens or a bunch of divine shields, that is going to do pretty well. So you have your Macaw on your Mana Saber, you have your Chicken in the back that will reapply the rally. You'll deal a lot of damage with it, but the weakness is still if you run into a lot of shields or cleaves, Wind Furies and stuff, that's, yeah, you don't really like. Mama Bear is now a 6/6, yeah. You just buff it until people play it. From 4/4 to 5/5 to 6/6, at some point people will play Mama Bear. Again, it's just pure mid-game, pure tempo. You don't really keep this on your board. Goldrin from 4 to 5 to 6, same evolution here. Goldrin is sort of the exception here, because Goldrin you could actually play. And I think with +6/+6 we might be there. I think we may have arrived, right? Again, right, you can have Macaw with Wind Fury, you can reborn the Macaw, you can reborn the Goldrin, so this is much easier. You can also amplify it through Titus, so it's actually not even close just how much better Goldrin is than the Raptor Elder. Skipper is a 1/1. Honestly, if they could make it a 0/1, it's actually still insane. Yeah, I think if this was a 0/1, I would still buy it over any other 1-drop, right? Let that sink in for a moment. This could literally have no damage. Honestly, it could have 0 health, and I would still buy it. It's just, yeah, making a tier 1 minion is, that's very powerful. It's gold, man. Better than gold, yeah. Alright, Merglin Burglar, +4/+3, that's okay. Spamming Murlocs was already viable, right? So you get your brand, you spam your Primal Fins and stuff, so that's a nice little boost. Honcho is back. It's now a tier 2, but it only buffs 1 friendly Murloc, +2 health. Back when Honcho buffed 2 friendly Murlocs, it was actually a comp you would play in the mid-game, where you just stay on, what was it, tier 4, tier 3, and you would just roll Murlocs and cycle with Honcho, and it was pretty funny. But that was back when you had Toxfin in the pool, and you could just make your Murlocs poisonous. And then you just give them a lot of health, and then the damage doesn't matter, because you make them all poison. This right now, it's like, okay, you can have it on your board, and it helps a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a strategy on its own again. Murkai, I like this. I like this. At the end of your turn, trigger the battle cries of adjacent Murlocs. That is elegant. I like that. because Murkai has honestly always just been broken with things that weren't necessarily Murlocs, like Gem Smuggler. So now that it's adjacent Murlocs only, the power level goes down a lot, but you can play Flotsam build again, essentially. Because Mycologist is still in, and you can use Mycologist to create Murloc with the spell power or the spell buffing thing, and then you could just put that next to Murkai. So it's a pretty expensive composition because it's on tier 6, right? You need your Brand, your Drukhari on tier 5, you need your Mycologist, you need your Murkai on 6. But at least it's back in the game, so you could do it now. Grease Spot is 2-2, yeah, that's fine. Little buff. Drone is 2-1, that's not irrelevant because we're seeing a lot of beatboxer stuff when people can do it. So very nice. Zarina back to 3, yeah. It was 3 during the crazy power spike in Trinket meta with anomalies. But mechs have been, you know, just haven't been competitive, or at least not that competitive. So they're going back with the shotgun approach, just keep buffing it. So back to 3. Wow, this is kind of a crazy change. So at first this looks like a nerf, right? When you just glance over it, whenever you play or magnetize a mech, give it 2-1. But it says a mech, not a magnetic minion. So you can play Mechanome and then play another Mechanome, and the second Mechanome is already +2/+1. And then every other mech you play after that gets +4/+2, magnetic or not. So that can definitely be an early game. That can snowball, right? Because imagine if you have +4/+2 and you just buy an Annoyatron that's already a 5/4 Divine Shield. They buy on tier 2, like that's fine, right? So I don't think it's going to be like giga game changing, but some nasty tempo early. Promo Drake is now +4/+4, yeah, just small little buff. Mid-game dragons have been struggling a lot, so that's fair. Yeah, same here. Recruiter is now 8 health instead of 6 health. Oh, but this one, when I saw this change, I was like, what? Taragosa's now on tier 2. So that's going to make you play dragons more often, because you're going to have that Wind Fury dragon, or you're going to have the Rally dragon that buffs another dragon, and you're going to have Taragosa on your board and make those buffs permanent. And then because you have Taragosa on your board, you don't mind just picking up a Promo Drake and stuff like that. So it's just going to increase the percentage of times that people play dragons, just because it was correct to pick Taragosa up on tier 2. Yeah, definitely. I had to do a double take. I was like, what? Taragosa on tier 2? Oh my. Watcher is back to giving +1/+3. Yeah, again, right? Just that shotgun approach. Buff dragon. Buff, 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 buff. Noisel is a 5. Fine. You're not going to play around Noisel, but if you triple into it and you have the right board, it's some tempo. But you can't really play around it. It's just, it doesn't do enough. Being Noisel undead isn't really a thing. Right? It's just not enough going on. Harana Monos is now a 6 with +2 attack. Again, compared to Carapace, do you care? You don't care, right? I mean, going from 1 to 2 is double as much, right? So that is a huge increase, but still, I don't think we care, Chad. I think we just play Carapace if we're doing this kind of undead, right? Like, I'll take the Noisel change because now I get some more tempo if I already have some stuff on my board and I'm trying to go Carapace. But then this thing, I don't think I care. Again, I might be wrong. I might be off on it just because it's twice as good, so that's a big buff. But intuitively, I don't care. This I care about. Campfire is on tier 4. The Reborn is also on tier 4. So you can have Reborn Campfire on tier 4. That's good. And then you sell it to not play undead later. But oh, you can actually play this with the guy that does the thing, right, Chad? The guy that does the thing. The Monstrosity. That gives all your stuff, all your Menagerie buff when you attack with Rally. So there's actually a really good pickup for Monstrosity. That's nice. That's strong, right? Don't sleep on this, because you can buy this and then find Reborn, and that's good money, and it sets you up for Monstrosity. Genie is back and it's a death rattle. I am sad. When they removed Carbonic, could they not just make this battle cry again so you could have some fun for Ascendant? Am I wrong in that? Does that not make sense? I guess it's too powerful with Tempest in the game as well. Like, too much economy. Tempest plus Genie and Lava Lantern. But the problem is you return Genie now, and I don't really care. What I'm saying is you don't really want to... Well, maybe you do. I don't know. I guess it's just because I played with Battlecry Genie, and now it's really hard to go back to not Battlecry Genie. You know? Like, it's really hard to go back. Don't ask me to go back, Blizzard. You made this Battlecry in my head. It's already, like, paired to Bran, and I get dopamine when I roll it with Bran. And now it's like, ugh, get it away from me. All right. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on it. I understand why it's not Battlecry, because then you have Tavern Tempest and Lava and Genie, and that's maybe a bit much elemental economy support, but right now it's just a very like bleh feeling. Very bleh. I don't like that when my cards feel bleh. Sanctify is 7 attack. Yeah, I mean, keep buffing that. You're gonna have some really high damage mix, that's true. Some Deflecto Roach strategy, maybe. Eh. Oh, but this matters. 3/3 twice is bonkers. So this is now officially the best spell, right? Because you can get Mycologist with Azurite, and then it will double dip from your spell power. So that is a giga buff. A large buff, chat. A rather large buff. Which makes sense, because it's the tier 6 spell, so it makes sense that this is the one you want. Right now it was like, do you want Azurite or do you want Shiny Ring? It's kind of whatever. Whatever, I'm not too fussed. Right? That's not really a good feeling when it's like, do you want the tier, what is it, 3 Shiny Ring? Or 2? Yeah, whatever. Do you want that one or do you want the Azurite? I was like, I'll take whatever. Now it's like, I'll take the Azurite, yeah. Following quests are now easier to complete. Minions dying, destroying minions, and minions attacking is now easier. It's not in the notes here, but Play Battlecry quest is now gone. And they've also changed another thing, so I'll go over that here. So this is now harder to complete, which I don't understand because I was never completing this in the first place. Like, what cards to the hand is now harder? Okay, whatever. But this one is also changed. So this one goes from playing to buying. That means that the whole meta of holding cards in your hand for the quest turn is now probably gone. Because the Battlecry quest, you cannot hold Battlecries because the Battlecry quest is gone. And this quest is now buying types instead of playing types. So holding the types is gone. Which makes me a little sad because that was a really fun thing to do in quest meta. But I understand because it also creates for some really high roll moments where somebody holds and gets the reward and another person doesn't. And the difference is massive, right? Assuming you hit. But the fun level goes down a lot. That's the problem. So you can pick this quest, but your shop needs to be literally like Salamental Tad, and the quest needs to be buy Murloc or Elemental or something. Like, you can't just pick this and say, I'll just figure it out later, if that makes sense. Because you can't get lucky with playing multiples. Right? Before you could get lucky with playing multiples, now you have to buy them. So if you generate them from Reef Explorer, it doesn't count. If you generate them from Tad, from the River Skipper, from Salamental, from Tavern Tempest, all doesn't count. You have to buy them. So that's a giga nerf. So in order for you to pick this quest, you need to basically know that you can already complete it. Whereas the other one, you could pick and say, I will kind of figure it out. Not always, right? But sometimes. But again, in certain situations, it can be a buff simply because it's like play undead. You weren't going to generate undead anyway. Your shop has 3 undead. You're like, okay, whatever, I'll just buy undead. Following quest rewards are now easier to obtain. Yeah, I can get behind all of those, I guess. Magic Fin easier is a little sketchy for Bran, but that's like the only one. I guess Shudderwalk too. Shudderwalk and Bran with this thing are pretty disgusting. But still, I mean, you need to have a little bit of high roll, right? Don't take all the high roll out of it. Yeah, Smelting Chamber, no one was playing that. Tome oftentimes got you killed. This is like not insane. Yogg is too expensive. And then Riches goes from 7 gold to 5 gold. That's fine. This thing kind of just won you the game when you were alive, right? Perpetual Incantation from 1/1 to 2/1. Again, the problem I have with this quest is that this quest essentially assumes that you are popping off with pirates. And I think once you are popping off with pirates, at least on ladder, right? Like, which is like 99.999% of all games, you already win anyway, right? If you're in a really good pirate position, you're popping off, you have infinite cash. So I would much rather take a quest that helps me get to the point where I'm popping off with pirates than a quest that helps me pop off with pirates when I'm already there. Right, so I would much rather take something like a Golden Hammer and then use Golden Hammer on like Bran or the Bounty Guy and go infinite that way than to pick this up in preparation. So yeah, I don't know. This has to be something like in a Naga lobby maybe with the guy that makes shiny rings and you can leverage it that way. Or Yeah, I'm just not a fan of this quest reward, but maybe I'm underestimating how much like 2-1 is. Like maybe it does go fast enough. Overall, I'm not like too impressed. Oh, demon. Yes, with demons, I would actually do this because it's hard to get buffs on your staff. That's a good point. This is good with Shadow Dancer. All right, guys, that was a huge patch. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If I missed anything, something you disagree with. See you all next time.